If you are spending your time on the internet and you consider yourself as somebody with good morals, then it's only right that you hang by those good moral values. The same can't be said with the controversies and behaviors of Onision. The story of Onision is bizarre. He has become almost everything one would absolutely despise someone for: manipulating people, grooming several kids, abusing people around him, and much more. And to add on top of all of this, he has tried relentless times to try and legally change his name to try protecting and hide his identity. We've covered a wide variety of predators and overall bad apples on this channel, and it wouldn't be a Scorpion video without them. So in this video, we're going to be going through the rabbit hole circulating around Onision, as this is going to be one interesting case. The Onision channel would be created in 2006, his videos being nothing more than your average 2008 homemade sketch video. But unsurprisingly, Onision's homemade sketch videos would start to slowly build up his sub count to about 100 subs in early 2008, as sketch videos was what a lot of people found entertaining during the early days of YouTube, since making super highly edited produced videos wasn't really a thing back then. One of Onision's first viral videos across his channel was his music video titled I'm So Gamer. This video, for being made in 2008, had caught the attention by hundreds of thousands, as the video had gained over 500,000 views within just a month. But this would also begin to have people building up mixed feelings about Onision now. Many people in the comment section saying how weird and creepy Onision really seemed to them. But this overall didn't really matter for Onision, as his sub count pushed all the way up to almost 5,000 subscribers. Also, around this time period, Onision had begun doing content creation with his wife Sky at the time, as she had her own channel of her own at the time. And with the success on both of their YouTube channels, Onision had convinced Sky to quit her job so they could both do YouTube full time, since by 2008, the channel was nearing 10,000 subscribers. Then in 2009, Onision was going to create the Onision Speaks channel, which was essentially a commentary channel for him to talk about whatever he wanted to, as this was also around the time period where commentary was on the rise. Some of them, and if not all of his little commentary videos, were extremely controversial, but a lot of people respected Onision. Many people loved his music videos, his commentary, and his funny skit videos. And he also collaborated with many people at the time, such as Shane Dawson. Shane Dawson around 2009 and 2010 was very similar to Onision. The two had a similar video format, as they both did comedy skit videos.
Onision's channel.
Oh my god, Shane!
Home of the Shane Dawson wannabe bitch.
Yeah, so how are you, Shane Dawson?
Not long after his collaboration video, Onision's channel would explode in popularity in 2010, gaining over 100,000 subscribers in just a couple months. But he was going to find even more success in 2010 when he was going to find himself on the Tosh.0 show. By this time, Onision had completely made YouTube his primary job, as he was classified as an internet celebrity from being featured on television. His appearance on Tosh.0 had expanded his viewer base to much more than just people on YouTube. But despite this, something would happen for Onision. Around that time Onision was blowing up on YouTube, a 16-year-old pop star girl by the name of Shiloh had become a huge fan of Onision for a while when he started getting a bunch of different exposure. And later on, Shiloh was going to reach out to Onision for tips about her past abusive relationship with her boyfriend, and when she reached out to Onision, this had caught his interest, and from there the two were going to talk to each other on Skype for hours and hours on end, and this little friendship they got going began to turn into an affair. This emotional affair resulted in Onision threatening to divorce Sky in June of 2010. Sky was going to say, "He took me aside one night and told me the following: I'm going to divorce you because I finally found real happiness. I never loved you when she was afraid to be alone. If you want me to be happy, you'll let me do whatever I want." Upon which I clearly remember the look on his face, cold as a lizard on ice, dead-eyed with a smirk. He picks up the phone and calls Shiloh, to which Onision shows Sky his divorce papers, in which Sky had signed to, and the two would divorce, which resulted in Onision being filled with joy and being able to finally get with Shiloh when she was only just 17 years old at the time. And Onision was going to publicly announce his divorce with Sky.
She and I have decided to get a divorce for many reasons. Maybe I'll explain them in a later video, but I just want all of you to know that she and I are still friends, and I do still love her and care for her.
So now, Onision was going to finally meet up with Shiloh in Pennsylvania. Main reason why I chose Pennsylvania is because the age of consent there is only 16 years old, and the two would have sexual activities the very first day that they met each other. But to try and have a more closer relationship, and not have a distant relationship where they go back and forth, Onision was going to fly Shiloh back to Seattle to stay with them when she turned 18 years old, resulting in Shiloh being super distant from her family and her job, and being completely isolated with Onision now. And this change would ultimately be detrimental for Shiloh, as this far stretch from home had resulted resulting in Charlotte failing many times to produce music. And with all these failed times to produce music, Charlotte was ultimately dropped by her manager, meaning that she completely got her entire music career ruined essentially. During that time the two have been living together, Charlotte recalls Onision calling her names, like she was obese and he prefers skinny women, which have resulted in Charlotte to cry all the time, and would also result in Charlotte to have a seizure, which caused her to have 3 years of memory loss. And rather than Onision helping her, Onision was going to record clips of Charlotte having memory loss and post this to YouTube, which had infuriated viewers for exploiting private stuff of his partner for views, essentially. About a week later after this incident, Onision was going to announce to his fans that him and Charlotte had broken up, and after they broke up, he would try to use his platform to try and have his audience attack and harass Shiloh. And one of his videos about Shiloh, he had showed a clip of Shiloh calling the cops on him, and when the cops showed up, this happened.
You've destroyed any way for me to support myself. I have nothing. You have destroyed me.
Can you take a step back?
No.
I'm backed into a corner.
Then you have to promise to listen to me.
Yeah, open the door for the police.
What would you like us to do, sir?
I mean, she refuses to leave, so I don't know.
Well, the only way you can get her out is with an eviction or a court order.
Yeah, so...
And after all this conflict, Charlotte was eventually taken to go get help that she previously needed, resulting in Onision being single again. This loneliness then caused Onision to try and reach out and reconnect with Sky again, but obviously that shit didn't work. So he continued to post his normal YouTube videos and would even attend VidCon and meet up with Shane Dawson. But for some reason and somehow, Onision and Charlotte would end up getting back together and even get engaged with each other, having even more people to shit on him and call him a cuck. And when they got back together, there were of course more problems that happened, one of them being that she became a risk for being pregnant.
Guys, for the next few days there's not going to be any Onision uploads, which is very abnormal because I've kept to my schedule for years now. I'm just making this video to let you all know that when Shiloh was blood tested in regards to whether or not she was pregnant, and it concluded that she was going to miscarry, unfortunately, results came up that concluded she had sepsis, or has sepsis. So it got to her blood urinary infection, and now we have to rush her to the hospital in Canada, which she'll be on a plane very soon.
But Shiloh ended up flying all the way back to Canada to have a miscarriage, and while she was there, her mother wouldn't allow her daughter to go see Onision again, and they would eventually break up for a second time again. But not all so bad for him, because around 2012, Onision would be featured on TV again for the world to see, which resulted in a lot of positive attention for people, and overall it gave him even more notoriety. Wait, what's this? I'm a huge fan of your videos. I'm 17 and I live in the area and would like to know if I have a shot at being maybe in one of your videos. I don't know, people say I'm pretty funny and photogenic, so if you're interested, please let me know. Here's what I look like. Facebook or channel? In 2013, Onision was sent a picture of a topless 17-year-old while he was 27 years old, and he had replied to it. This caused many fans to be outraged, and he would try to say that he didn't see the attachment photo before he replied to the message, but people weren't buying it. But this would be minuscule to the drama he would find himself in next.
Like, this is a guy who's eager to get in more drama in front of an even larger audience. It's like it drives him.
Around 2014, Onision's life was going to take a huge turn, when his new wife, Lainey, would come on as bisexual, to which Onision would respond by saying that he supported her 100% and didn't mind if she got with a girlfriend, to which Onision's wife would get with a girlfriend, whose name was Billy. And when this happened, Onision and Lainey ended up separating each other, leaving Onision's wife in a new relationship and him not in one anymore, as he would announce this in 2016.
Lainey and I are getting separated. Not necessarily divorced just yet, but a lot of things are going to be changing in our lives, and we will no longer be in a romantic relationship with one another. Initially, this was a mutual agreement, but after I revealed everything as to what has happened over the last couple of days, Lainey made it more than absolutely obvious that there is literally no romantic potential for her and I in the future. Lainey and I had a child. I let them down doing all this. The good things that I've done as a response to this, I agreed to pay her a monthly sum that both she and a close friend of hers agreed was fair.
But it wouldn't be surprising that just a few days later, Lainey and Onision would end up getting back together, to which it created a three-way relationship now. As, not long after they got back together, he had posted a picture of his wife Lainey kissing Billy, and Onision was going to brag about how great this three-way relationship really was. Fact is, I've been a part of multiple threesomes with two individuals, and they were all amazing experiences. The internet can try to shame us for that, but it doesn't change how awesome the people involved are, nor does it change how awesome the experiences have been. However, despite Onision saying how much she liked this three-way relationship, this relationship would end up becoming extremely toxic. Previously, Eleni had been supposedly making jokingly tweets towards a 16-year-old fan whose name was Sarah, and later on, Onision would end up having Sarah move in with them to get away from her home life, and this was widely unknown to most viewers who were watching Onision's content throughout 2016. But what wasn't unknown was what Onision was posting in broad daylight. During late 2016, Onision would make a video series where he reviewed a bunch of his fans, primarily teenage girls' bodies for quote-unquote body positivity. He would have his young fan base post pictures of themselves in pretty revealing clothing on his website, to which he reviewed pictures of their bodies on his channel. This would of course have people calling him a sicko and a weirdo. He did say that there were rules on his website, as he had 18+ on there, but there were no barriers. And by the time 2017 rolled around, he would find himself in more shit, with this now 4-way relationship including Sarah now. It all started when Onision got in a huge argument with Billy, and he would eventually kick Billy out of their relationship, to which Billy was going to make a little video explaining how Onision was harassing her and making her life a living hell.
Onision, please stop harassing me and my best friend. I am tired of seeing your tweets, tired of being tagged in your tweets, of you just harassing us, telling us we're awful, druggy people. Please leave me alone. Stop talking about me. Don't speak about me in your videos. I'm done. Like, I hope you're happy. You completely destroyed all of my pride. You told me to get a tattoo saying I'm a liar, like a tramp stamp. You told me to shave my head. You told me to dye my hair green, shave off my eyebrows, and get an ugly tan. Like, is that not abusive to you? Do you think that's a fair trade for me telling you that I smoked weed? Like, that's what you think is okay? I betrayed your trust? You make them feel bad about themselves? I don't understand how you can do that and not feel bad about yourself. Like, does that make you happy? Telling people that they're worthless and that they should die because they smoke weed? Like, calling them an idiot because they don't agree with you on something? That's not a sane person. I'm not talking about online, I'm talking about me as a person. Like, the fact that you put such private information online for everyone to see, that was so confidential. I've told 5 people. 5! And you told all of the internet because you're a salty ass. No! Like, that's not how this should work. Like, you don't feel bad at all. That's the worst part. Like, you're just a person who likes to destroy people's lives because they're salty.
And this situation will spark a load of videos now covering Onision's weird statements towards Billy, as one of the many things fans speculate about Onision is that he has different girls chained inside his basement, since for some of the things that he would say to Billy. And to add more sparkles to the fire, Onision was going to make a video where he went over how Sarah began having interest in having a new relationship with Lainey now, to which he deemed it unethical.
How Sarah didn't want Lane to release screenshots of some conversation they had, and it was just really awkward. So that freaked us out. I went and talked to Sarah, and Sarah admitted that she called / messaged this ex-friend. I apologized to the ex-friend that Sarah had contacted her, and what was said made me super uncomfortable. And again, what Sarah actually said was her panicking about screenshots, which, you know, me personally, I don't panic about screenshots, because if something of mine got screenshotted and it doesn't make me look good, so be it. No, we gotta own our words. Apparently, Sarah also stated to me that she remembered saying something about her one day being in a relationship with Lainey, and that was super confusing to me, as I had made it clear to the public, as you've seen in previous videos, and I also made it clear repeatedly to Sarah that was never gonna happen. So seeing Sarah say these things really freaked me out. I mean, she's 16, I'm 31, this is creepy.
Over time, Onision would continually find himself in more and more drama with different people, and have weird different faces like his hentai addiction, and also his consistent power to meet up with young fans across the country, to which people noticed this and made videos calling him a weirdo, to which he would call these people who called him weird for meeting up with young fans are just stalkers.
Because what the internet's doing right now is they're taking the side of someone who has made over 40 hate videos about me. Just really gross. Make you feel dirty after watching them videos. I'm saying this because they couldn't possibly make you feel nice, despite the fact that I've watched none of them, because again, I don't want to go into the world of people who are the types of individuals to make 20-minute long videos.
But this statement would pretty much go out the window, because Onision had actually been pressuring Sarah, who at the time was so underage, to move in with Lainey to pursue a sexual relationship with her when she turned 18 years old. But with all this pressuring an underage kid to have sexual activities with someone, this would be the beginning stage of people accusing Onision of sleeping with Sarah when she was underage. And to try not have all this negative attention, Onision would tell Sarah to make a video saying that they didn't have any sexual interactions.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah, and recently I've seen some allegations against my friend Kai regarding me, and I just came to make my statement since I see a lot of people talking for me, but people are saying that we had sexual conversations or were planning on having sexual relations when I was underage, and we never did. I don't know why people are now saying this and bringing up old screenshots that have already been addressed. But Kai is one of the sweetest people I know, and he doesn't deserve this.
But there would be a clip from that video that was deleted where it shows Sarah crying because what she was saying wasn't true, because it was Onision that told her what to say. But Onision already had made another video giving its own point of view telling how things actually happened.
And that's just the thing. You guys have this concept of grooming, right? But that requires you have sex with somebody right after they turn 18. And the person you guys are talking about has been 18 for a while. And we've hung out with him multiple times. And we never had sex with them. We never made out with him or whatever.
But just 2 days after Onision made his video saying how he didn't have any sexual interaction with Sarah, it would be exposed that Onision and Sarah had sex together when she was 17 years old at the time. Now with this information being exposed, he was trying to change his name and try to essentially run away from his problems, but this wouldn't work out for him, as his problems only continued to get worse, as people all over the internet began saying how Onision slept with Sarah, to which Sarah would confirm to. And this situation would reach massive audience when Sarah was going to speak about her relationship with Onision on the Blair White podcast.
Basically, Kai was taking selfies, and he sent me a few of the selfies, and one of them, he didn't have any bottoms on, but he had a shirt on, and one of them, like, his entire, like, private was in the picture.
And only from here, this would cause a wave of videos saying Onision is a pedophile and a groomer. And not only would all this massive evidence of Onision having all these sexual interactions with young kids catch the attention of YouTube, but it also catch the attention of Chris Hansen in late 2019. As Chris Hansen began interviewing Onision's victims one by one, as he started off by interviewing Sarah, as she would tell Chris that Onision had visited a lot of young girls, most of them out of state, and had multiple girls visit him too. He would go on to interview Billy and Shiloh and more people, all of them saying how Onision had manipulated them and abused them, and overall just treated them like shit. And with all this stuff coming to Chris Hansen's light, caused him to do an FBI investigation on Onision, and Chris Hansen tried to interview him, but Onision kept declining the interview. So, in January of 2020, Chris Hansen and his camera crew would show up at Onision's house for a little talk, but Onision wouldn't talk to Chris. Instead, he would call the cops on Chris Hansen and report him of stalking him.
Hi, there's a person who's been stalking me online and they just showed up to my house.
Okay, and they're outside now?
Yes, they're knocking on my door.
Okay. And do you know if they have any weapons?
They have a bunch of camera people, like they're YouTube stalkers.
As you watch this, it's important to remember that all the camera crews, sound guys, and attorney Mike Morris stayed on the street when I went up to knock on James Jackson, Gregory Jackson, Onision's door to see if he would talk to me. I've been doing this for some 40 years. I didn't get into YouTube to start journalism, but I did take my brand of journalism to YouTube to expose alleged predators.
And this would make its way to the weirdest moments in Chris Hansen history. However, Onision getting arrested didn't happen, as the investigation on Onision had failed, as Onision had claimed that he was being stalked by Chris Hansen, to which it technically was, and the jury couldn't do much about it. And from there on, Onision continues to be a free man, and is still able to roam around the internet. He has become somebody who destroyed himself while destroying others in the process. Onision claims that he's the most honest YouTuber out there, but copyright claims and strikes on videos that speak about his controversial past. There's not really good things to say about Onision, as he's always going to be one of the creepiest and weirdest influencers out there, and him being a free man still gives him access to try and meet up and talk with young kids around the internet and potentially meet up with them, and that's a common trait that he's been doing for years. But that's all for today's video. If you guys enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and drop a like if you want to. Go for my Twitter at Scorpion_1 and join the Discord link down in the description below. But thank you for the support recently and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.